What's up, Star Wars fans and action figure collectors? Darth Collector here, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing the Jedi Legacy Evolutions 3-pack. Before we get started with the video though, thank you guys so much. We're currently at 63 subscribers, and that's really awesome, and I know it may not seem like a big number, but it still means a lot to me, and so let's see if we can get it up to 100 subscribers by the end of the month while we're all in quarantine, and I'm going to start uploading some more videos, because I know I only uploaded twice this last month. Starting off with the packaging, here we can see a brief description of the Jedi Order and all three characters who are featured in this 3-pack. Moving over to the right, we have an image of all three figures as they appear in the set. Down in the bottom, there's two more packs, the Sith Legacy and the Fett Legacy, and here is a safety label. You can pause any of this at your convenience. The front side is just a picture of Qui-Gon and where the figures go, along with the three names of each figure: Qui-Gon Jinn, Bultar Swan, and Luke Skywalker. The sides of this package are pretty much blank. So here are the three figures themselves. At the bottom here, I have Bultar Swan, here's Luke Skywalker, and here's Qui-Gon Jinn. Starting with Bultar Swan, this character was actually in the Battle of Geonosis, and you can see her in a quick scene where she ignites her lightsaber. The paint apps and sculpting on this figure are good. Not the best we've seen, but they're good. And the detail throughout the figure is fine as well. The boots have some nice weathering on them, and overall, the paint on this figure is detailed and very nice. This figure's lightsaber is also detailed and looks nice in her hands. I'm pretty sure it's unique to her as well. This figure has 14 points of articulation, with a ball joint at the head, ball joint at both shoulders, ball joint at the elbows, swivels at the wrist, swivels at the waist, swivel at the legs, ball joint at the knees, and ball joints at the ankles. The figure's knees are a little bit loose, and I did get these carded, obviously you saw the package, but it's okay. The figure stands up fine as well, and you won't find yourself needing a stand for her. The next figure we're going to be looking at is the Qui-Gon Jinn figure, and we're going to first start off with the accessories. Qui-Gon's lightsaber is the exact same lightsaber that every Qui-Gon figure pretty much has ever gotten. Same one as the Phantom Menace Mailway figure, same one as most of them. Standard green lightsaber with a big hilt. Detailed, sculpted well, painted well, same old, same old. This figure's biggest accessory issue is one that is common among Jedi figures. The Jedi robes on this figure are way too big, and as you can see, don't work at all. This one goes like twice as huge as his head, and it goes way above it. It doesn't come over like it should, and overall it just doesn't fit. The biggest issue obviously is the hood, but the robes seem a bit short to me as well. For the duration of this review, I'm going to be removing this cloak because it'll allow us to see the rest of the figure's detail better. As for the figure itself, this figure is almost identical to another Qui-Gon Jinn figure released in a mail-away pack with the EOP figure. The only difference that I've found between these two figures is in their face sculpt. The older figure has a mustache, if that focuses, and the newer figure has a goatee. Now, I don't really know why this is different, I just know that it is, and it's just something I personally noticed between my two figures. I don't know if all of them are like this, or if I just got lucky with mine, but that is the only difference between these two, so that's all. His face sculpt is fine, except for the goatee. I feel like I like the mustache a little better, but I don't remember exactly what Liam Neeson had in the movie off the top of my head. The sculpt and paint apps on the rest of the body are great as well. The detail in the boots is nice. Has all the folds and creases of his robe, nice belt. Same thing on the back, all the hair is really nicely sculpted. Sculpt and paint apps on this figure are great, detail overall is awesome. As for articulation, this figure is 14 POA, has a ball joint at the head that you can't really use all that much because of his hair. Ball joints at both shoulders, ball joints at the elbow, swivels at the wrist, ball joint at the waist, swivels at the legs, ball joints at the knees, and ball joints at the ankles, but the ankle ball joints are a little bit finicky and kind of only go up and down. Overall, this is a good figure, another one I probably give around a 7 out of 10. It stands up perfectly fine on its own, and the lightsaber fits really well into the figure's hand. Lastly, we have my favorite figure in this pack. This is the Luke Skywalker figure. Now this Luke is actually from the new Jedi Order series, so this is from way after Return of the Jedi when he's the Grand Master of his own Jedi Order. Now there's a couple odd things I'd like to point out the figure, starting with his lightsaber. This figure's lightsaber is a little odd in that it's actually Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber hilt, but with a green blade. So this isn't the first mistake I've noticed in these Legacy 3-packs. The Sith one actually says Darth Nihilus came after Darth Bane rather, which is actually reversed. Darth Nihilus was long before Darth Bane. And similarly with this lightsaber, Luke Skywalker actually had a different lightsaber during and after Return of the Jedi, because he lost his first one, obviously, when he lost his hand at Empire Strikes Back on Bespin, right? So this lightsaber hilt is actually not what he would have had. It would have been his Return of the Jedi one, which looks more similar to Obi-Wan Kenobi's than Anakin and Luke's original one. Just a minor detail I noticed. If that is something that bothers you, you can just get another Luke with the other lightsaber, but it doesn't really bother me at all, and it fits fine in the figure's hand, so I'm just going to keep it for now. You know, it's likely that he could have gotten another lightsaber as the Grandmaster of the Order. Overall, the sculpting and detail on this figure is really nice. The face just looks like an aged version of the Luke Skywalkers we see in New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi, so that works really well. The rest of his robes are also detailed nicely, painted nicely, and just look good overall. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a kit bash of some other previous Jedi figures from the Geonosis packs, but I could be wrong, and I don't know officially. The figure's back detail also looks great. Similarly to the other two figures in this pack, this Luke Skywalker figure is 14 points of articulation, with a ball joint at the head, ball joints at both shoulders, ball joints at the elbows, swivels at the wrists, swivel at the waist, swivels at the legs, ball joints at the knees, and ball joints at the ankles, except this one's ankle ball joints are actually functional. This figure stands up nicely and his lightsaber fits into his hand well, so you won't be needing a stand if you want to display this figure. Overall, this is probably my favorite figure from this pack because I just really like the NJO Luke Skywalker from after Return of the Jedi, and it was the only Luke Skywalker we got from after Return of the Jedi until the one released for The Last Jedi movie. Now, the only somewhat flaws I have with this figure are you can't really articulate the legs except for in this stand-up position because of this hard plastic tunic he's wearing. So you can't articulate the legs at all, basically, but you can do the knees and the ankles. So you're going to have to kind of just put him in a stand-up pose like this, or you're going to have to bend his knees a little bit and get him in one of those jump poses or whatever if you have a stand. Overall, I'd probably give this figure an 8 out of 10, and the only reason it's not higher is because you can't properly articulate the legs. It would have also been cool to see this figure coming with a cloak, but it probably wouldn't have fit anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Now, before we wrap up the video, there's just one more thing I'd like to address. In another YouTuber's comment section, I actually saw a question asking what a good price range for some of the figures that we're reviewing were. And for these figures, a good price range for the entire 3-pack carded would be $25 to $35. So you're probably going to be looking right around $30. I got this one for like $32, and I think that is a fair price for this set, and I think it's worth it because you're getting about 3 fully articulated figures, you're getting 3 exactly, fully articulated figures with good detail, and nowadays, fully articulated figures with good detail cost about like $12 to $14 a piece new. So I think this is a bargain, and if you're into collecting Jedi, I would highly recommend picking this setup. First, for me, I really like the Bultar Swan and the Luke figures. The Qui-Gon one, I already have another Qui-Gon that's basically the same, so it's like whatever. But the Luke one's really cool from the NJO period, and this is the only Bultar Swan you can find with the Jedi tunic on. The only other one is a really cartoonish, dinky looking one from after Order 66, because she actually survived. Here's an image of that one now. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate that. And if you're not already, please consider subscribing and leaving a like on the video. Also leaving a comment if you have any of these figures. And if you have any questions about like price ranges or anything of any other figures, just leave that in the comments and I will answer your question. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. Please stay safe with all the coronavirus stuff. And the Force will be with you always.